Piedmont High School is a 3A school. We're a city system in rural Alabama. We're in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains.
It's a community that cares about its schools, cares about its football, cares about its kids.
Middle class, actually middle lower probably, is most of our student body.
We were once a booming city based on the textile cotton mills of the early 20th century.
25 years ago, it was a thriving community. In the last 7 or 8 years, the last remaining factory that was textile-based closed.
The cotton mill was our biggest employer, and it's probably been in Piedmont for many, many years, probably I'd say close to 100. And it closed, of course, like many did across the South.
There's very little in our community for students to do after high school graduation except move away.
We are to us, typical small town USA.
When anybody thinks about moving into Piedmont, be it a private individual or a business, the first thing they're going to look at is their school system.
I understand that in a small town especially, the high school is kind of the center, and people gravitate toward that.
We wanted to give our students an opportunity to grow up in a city that is technologically advanced.
How can technology change what we're doing and really change, more than what we're doing, change the outlook for our kids, which would ultimately change the outlook for our community?
So the idea is to create a global learner. You want to create a student who can work a job, whether it exists today or it doesn't exist today. When it comes around, they can learn it and do a better job than anybody else.
I mean, it's amazing what students will do when they're really engaged from the beginning of a period to the end of the period.
Our end goal is just, like we named it, MPower Piedmont. We wanted to empower our students to be successful, no matter what they want to do.
People relate MPower Piedmont to being a laptop initiative. It's always been a community transformation initiative, but how are you going to get there? Well, one of our ways was we put MacBooks in the hands of every student, grades 4 through 12.
In sending home the MacBooks, we sent home a piece of technology, simple technology, but most of the homes in Piedmont had never had access to.
We knew there was a digital divide. We knew that we had some kids that had, some kids that did not.
How are we going to do that? We live out in the country. We have no internet. Our internet was dial-up, and it was very, very slow. It took us 30 minutes to pull up Yahoo or Google.
No matter what you read, there's a digital divide in this country, and I think it's getting larger. And part of it is about access. I mean, we have a couple of homes, or I don't know, a dozen or so, where it's hard to get any type of access there.
But let's level the playing field. Let's close that digital divide so that everyone in Piedmont has equitable access to technology and to the internet.
My kids had access to a computer. They did. We had internet at home. They had that. Some of their best friends did not.
Our design was to cast a citywide wireless mesh so that not only our students, but ultimately down the road we would have the infrastructure to support economic development for our city, to have community internet access.
The kids have accessibility. I see them at McDonald's, I see them at the Civic Center, I see them downtown, and they're able to plug in their laptop computers or turn it on rather, and just start doing homework or whatever.
In college, odds are you're going to have to take an online class at some point, and to know your way around a learning management system, to know how to collaborate in that setting is important. And so I definitely think that we're preparing them for college and career readiness in that fashion.
This can only help them. It can only help them. It helps them to mature. They have to learn how to manage their time so much better.
We want every student in Piedmont to be able to graduate ready to compete on a global playing field, and to do that competitively. And even though they may have to go away for a 4-year university education, we want them to come back home to Piedmont and invest their time and their abilities and their skills back here where they grew up.
Well, it was all about community transformation, to change the outlook of the community, to change the perception of the community, because one of the things that happens when the perception of the community changes is the kids' thoughts about themselves change.